What is going on, everybody? We're checking out a new build triplex today. Pretty cool. Came across my desk, was talking to the guy who's building it, the developer, if you will, and he's ideally looking to get it sold prior to it being built. So, is offering some pretty good incentives and discounts, and that's why it came across my desk. I'm sharing it here. Address is this 1563 Greenway we have up here in Google Maps. This is, of course, zoomed out the total Columbus as a whole. This is essentially right on the border of the Woodland Park and Mount Vernon, King Lincoln, Bronzeville areas. Taylor Ave is that boundary. So this is just over the boundary into Woodland Park. For those who are not familiar, this is OSU East, kind of right here, and the airport is right back over here. So this is actually a fantastic location if you wished to target STRs or medium-term rentals. If you wanted to go after traveling nursing, there's a hospital there. There's another hospital down here in Nationwide, and then OSU is over here as well. So within about 3 miles in any direction, maybe 5 miles over to here, you've got a hospital, and then of course the airport again. If you want to target, people traveling into town or whatnot, this is very convenient, even if they're just staying over for a night or a short stay. It's pretty much on the way to downtown. So location wise, very convenient in what we're looking at. So what's the deal? So the property is a new build. Whoops. And it's essentially on this vacant lot here that you can see when we zoom in. So the new build is going to look like, one second. This was previously listed, and then they took it down to kind of restart the project, and now they're about to break ground. So these are the pictures from previous listing when it had been up. And of course, it's 3 units, 2 bed, 1 bath each. There will be off-street parking, 1 unit per, or excuse me, 1 spot per unit. Pretty obvious. And of course, these are all rendered. But I am told that this is true to design and how things are really going to look with accent walls and decorations and whatnot. So, really is going to be quite luxurious and going to be very desirable, I think, in the market, especially for that kind of young professional, perhaps, young nurse or something like that looking to work at the hospital. So very impressive product. And let's dive into, where did my, here we go. Let's dive into the comps here. So I essentially pulled these three properties here, one, two, and three. They are multifamily. They're at least 3 units. I think they're actually mostly four. This property is up here. You may make the argument that, well, this is a different neighborhood, and that is true. This is Old Town. These are Franklin Park. However, comping a new build, especially a multifamily, is quite nuanced. There's really nothing in this general area that would be close to a new build or considered that kind of caliber building. So these are looking mostly at current second gen properties. They've been rehabbed, and we're just trying to get an idea of where our market value is. So the asking price, if you will, I think originally was 650. We can see in the listing. Yeah, they had it for 649.9. Builders indicating to me that they're willing to go down before building as low as 620. That is also somewhat unnegotiated. I'm sure there's a little bit of room for more credits or something in there if we want to do rate buy downs, that type of thing, to help in the monthly payment. But the real benefit to this is that it's a tax abated property, meaning that you're only going to be taxed for the foreseeable. It'll likely be 10, potentially 15 years, depending on what happens with the city, at the current taxable value, which is, where's my tax? Where's my tax? Come on. It's not showing me here. It's like $1,200 when I pulled it up online here. Let's do this. Show it to you live here. Yeah, so total tax bill is 919. So that is where it will basically get frozen for the next 10 to 15 years uh, with the tax abatement when it gets billed. So that's where a large portion of the cash flow and the savings in doing this building is going to be. And then, of course, if you're an owner occupant, I do believe this is in a grant qualifying area. So you could do 100% financing, $15,000 grant loan through Park National Bank, and pick this property up if you were going to live in one unit. So very, very good tax incentives and loan incentives there as well. The comps, as I said, were those three properties. And so this first one sold for 899. It was actually a 4 unit, and it was 2 beds, two full baths. Um, Again, this is in a slightly more desirable area. It does have one more bathroom, and it is refurbished, but it's not totally brand new like this building's going to be. So where it is better, it's also not brand new, and so the general um, the general call it $2,000 a unit. Well, this is actually almost 900,000 that they is that what it's sold for? Or is that just the list price? We're gonna do it this way. That Orient Franklin Park, it sold for 835. So a little over $2,000 per unit. And this is right in the heart of Old Town East on Bryden Road, right on the border of Franklin Park there. So if we consider that this is 2,000 a unit, it's in a slightly more desirable area, but it's not a new build. It's kind of a pretty good give and take comp for me as far as I'm concerned. This one is 700,000. It was not as many bedrooms, I believe. Yes, 2 units on the first floor are 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and 2 units on the third floor are 3 bed, 2 bathrooms. So we have six, seven, 8 bedrooms total at $700,000. So just under 100 grand uh, per per room. The deal here again is that 2 of the units have less bedrooms than the units we're comping. And then, of course, this again is in a slightly, you could argue, more desirable area. And then that coupled again with the main thing that everything in the new building is brand new. This again is a pretty good indicator of what things are trading for as far as incomes and quality of units. And then last, we have this one, which again just sold actually the other day. So it's a pretty good comp. Um, 3 of the units are 1 bedroom units though, and then one is 2 bedroom. So while this was sold at 650, so slightly more than what this unit is asking for, the comparable property or subject property, this is closer to downtown. So there is a proximity premium you're paying with this property. Um, so it again supports the idea that with more bedrooms and a brand new build in a slightly less desirable area, you could see the bargain at 620 compared to this property as well. So while nothing is a one-to-one comparison, as that's pretty hard to do with a new build and a multifamily, 620 is generally what things are trading at, if not a good deal, considering it is a new build and your maintenance items and things are going to be considerably lower. So, where do the numbers kind of check out? This is basic rental numbers. So we did standard 20% down. We have a standard 7% interest rate. I did some basic guessing for expenses, property value, um, income growth, things of that nature. And it came out pretty good. We've got about $700 a month in pure cash flow. So that's a little over 200 a unit in pure cash flow after expenses. That's fantastic in my mind as far as a cash flow number. The cap rate is slightly over the interest rate, which we would, of course, like to see it over the interest rate more. But given the interest rate environment, that's not uncommon at this point. The cash on cash return, nothing to write home about, but certainly well within what we're seeing, especially given the cash returns monthly on this property. Give a little projection here on equity growth and things of that nature. As you can see, once you get out to year 5 and 10 is where the equity growth and loan pay down really start to make a difference. So overall, if you were to redo these numbers and do it as an owner occupant, potentially with a standard 5% or 3.5% down, your of course cash on cash return goes up because you're putting way less money down. And you end up somewhere in the $930 a month payment range, meaning that if you purchase this for 620, you put 5% down, you do a standard FHA or whatever owner occupant house hack loan, you end up paying out of pocket about $900 a month to live here, which is not bad. That'd be one of the cheaper units you could get in town, especially for how nice they are. And then, of course, the nice part being a multifamily, you can pretty much up and leave whenever your life tells you want to, and not have to worry too much about it as you're going to keep it and keep on renting it. So that is the latest at 1563 Greenway, new build 3 unit. Again, discounts being offered pre completion of the project. So if you have any interest, reach on out and we'll dive in and get you all the info you might need. Thanks much. How do I stop this?